And good morning, everybody. Hope you're having a great day.
Good morning.
So what you been up to, James?
Man, I'm trying to lose some weight.
Oh, come on. It's just got Labor Day. What do you want to lose weight for?
Because it was Labor Day, right? So it's a labor dragging all this weight around, and that's what the issue is.
Well, if you want to lose a bit of weight, just come over our house, chop some trees down.
Hey, that exercise. So my wife got these bikes, and I've been wanting us to get some bicycles anyways.
Pelotons? You got Pelotons?
Hey man, actually they're actual real bikes.
Real bikes.
Yeah, that's kind of been the thing. So
You've been cycling the hills of Switzerland.
Hey man, I've been kind of walking out there and getting a couple of miles in. It's been feeling good, man, getting some exercise in because I'm just usually working around. It's a stressful job, but of course.
I thought you'd be a Peloton guy, cycling the mountains of Switzerland and Austria.
I've never been that stationary kind of like treadmills. I hate the bicycles and cycles. I want to be out. If I'm going to do something like that, I want to be out and actually moving. I was never a fan of the just sitting still, the sedentary kind of exercise, so to speak. So. But nevertheless, I'm trying to do it. It's day 3, so far so good. I haven't quit, and neither has my body. And I got me a smoothie. I'm trying to do a little better with what my intake is. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, give it 5 days. You'll be out there with McDonald's.
I appreciate the vote of confidence, Steve. I really do. At least you're honest, right? At least you're honest.
So what we got on the menu today then?
Man, there's
I just thought I'd push that in, the menu, but you being getting fit.
I
make you feel a bit hungry.
Speaking of menus, I saw a burger ad on the way over here. It was just the devil just trying to tempt me. Oh, it looked so delicious. I was like, I need to get that at lunch. Wait a minute, I'm not eating that. So I had to remind myself, that's how quickly you can be tempted and kind of thrown off of things. So nevertheless, and we're talking about a whole lot of things. This housing bubble, there's the abortion laws. So wherever we want to jump in, let's just jump into it and talk about it. There's a lot. Texas has been on the news, man. I know my family has been probably looking at us sideways. It's like, hey, man, what's going on in Texas over there?
Before we get into the housing boom or housing bubble, tell us, I was creased up this morning about a little story you told me about a friend of yours that's looking at moving.
He was looking at trying to
and
move.
His reason for moving was?
Well, the initial reason for moving was because his wife wanted double ovens. And when he told me, I didn't know if he was serious or not. I was like, you got to be kidding me, right? Double ovens. But, hey, the things you do for your wife. But that was one of the reasons why they were moving. So now, that was a few years ago. Very good neighbors of ours, and we actually go to church with them as well. He's been looking at the market because he's military, vet, retired, doesn't pay any property taxes. So now he's at a position where now he wants to downsize. He even he called and said, maybe I could just go back and ask the neighbor if they want to sell their house and, tell them, hey, have y'all been getting along with the ghost in there? Just kind of something to kind of get him out of there. But nevertheless, I advise him, this isn't the time to wait. If you're even thinking about doing it, and you need to pull the trigger because the prices are up. And it's not like a bubble kind of up. It's a boom kind of up. And eventually interest rates are going to go up. And that will definitely affect his qualifying ability because prices will be high and rates will be higher, shall I say. And it'll make it tougher for folks.
My opinion is the housing bubblers. I think they're just being dramatic about the whole thing because I don't think it's a housing bubble at all.
Me neither.
Because the bubble bursts and I cannot see it bursting at all. I can see it flattening off a little bit, but as I've said to you many, many, many times, the people I feel sorry for are the first-time home buyers getting on that ladder.
Oh yeah, they are
the
tough.
People that I feel we need to help. We need to get them on that housing ladder.
They have been in a situation here as of late where you call it a seller's market, but not just that. If the type of financing, I'm a member of a group on Facebook, and this particular person posted, and his agent was trying to talk him out of using VA financing. I was like, really? Why would your agent even do that? I mean, you serve the country. You have a housing benefit that you have available to you. I would get rid of that agent. That's no excuse. I mean, they deserve to be able to use their housing benefit. And any seller that doesn't want to allow a veteran to buy their home, that's an issue.
We've had people that have accepted a VA loan on a house, no other reason that they are a veteran.
Absolutely.
And they've even got offers on the property above what the veterans offered, but they wanted to let the veteran have the option to buy a house.
I agree with that 100%.
So no two situations are ever the same, but I just think that's an ill-educated agent.
I totally agree. So, of course, I forgot the name of the show you told me you were watching, but they all seem to be in the same vein about it being a boom and not a bubble.
It's a boom. It's not a bubble.
Yeah,
it's a boom. And the problem is because the inventory is, it's so low. I really feel that the new home builders, I personally feel the new home builders are sort of causing the problem.
They are. They're making it an issue.
And I just don't think it's right. And I think personally, I feel buyers should be very careful with new home builders, because they're using their contracts and everything stacked in the builder's favor.
Mm-hmm. They do.
There was one the other day. One of our agents tried to advise somebody against buying a particular new home with a new home builder because there was basically the earnest money went hard after 5 days, and the earnest money was $10,000.
Oh my goodness!
So you don't buy it after 10, and you don't buy it after 5 days, and then
you lose your earnest money.
You lose your earnest money. There was no due diligence time. Unfortunately, because of the market that we're in, that's what a lot of the builders are doing. They can put the squeeze on people.
Yeah, it's. I think the last number I saw, there's been like a 23% year-over-year increase. And the median home price, of course, it'll vary across the country, but I think nationwide it's like $363,000.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't find anything decent to live in here for less than $250,000.
Right. Well, I reckon the median price now has gone over 300.
It is absolutely, and I don't know. Will the home buyers that are now in the market to purchase, they almost will get in a position to where they won't have options because rents are increasing as well.
Right. And how do they save up? How do they save up for a house if their rents are going up?
I don't know if you can.
You just get a second job.
What, second? Well, here's the problem.
Just get a third and a fourth job.
Second, third, or fourth.
So funny you say that, Jack, because second jobs are definitely an answer to help with that problem, right? But if you have not been working your second job for at least 2 years, some lenders don't want to even count it for you. They don't want to give you credit for that extra income. Why? Because back in the past, when this whole bubble burst back in 2008, people were going to get second jobs just to qualify for the mortgage, and then they quit after the loan closed. So when they went back and started tracking, what happened with this particular loan, it's because this person with this second job, they just got this job, a month before they applied.
Yeah, getting a job's easy. Just ask Ted Cruz.
I wasn't being serious when I said just get a job. Just stop going to Starbucks.
Just take the advice of Ted Cruz. Just get a job.
Oh yeah, it's easy. It's easy for him, right? Because he can go.
He goes to Mexico during hurricanes and stuff. He's set up for life.
Yeah. So, oh well. So I think I pulled this article. This guy, he's a World Trade Center survivor.
This is an interesting.
It is. He's one of only 2 people that survived the Twin Tower collapse, and he's dealing with a mixture of survivor's guilt and gratefulness, so to speak. He's there, he's living, he's alive after having been on the 22nd floor. I think they said this guy was on. He was on the 22nd floor when he rode down a small patch of concrete flooring down another 18 stories. Dude walked away with just suffering a broken leg and an ankle. That's crazy. Now, he worked on the 64th floor. So my thought is he had to come down 40 some odd floors already to get there from where he is, and then rode down the concrete another 18 stories. And here he is still living. And of course, we are 3 days away from the 20-year anniversary of all of that happening and taking place. So I think they've been kind of talking to people about this more. I've been seeing more things out online talking about that day and what happened and what took place. And it's interesting that, of course, with Afghanistan being where it is and just this time of the year, with it being the 20th anniversary, it's just all kind of telling on kind of where we are with this whole deal. Because this was a tragic day in U.S. history for sure. Why aren't we off 11? I don't understand. Shouldn't that be a holiday?
Should.
Of commemoration?
I think it should.
I think it should too. I'm not sure why someone hasn't pushed for that to be a holiday. Right. Yeah, I just thought it was interesting to see that guy.
And we all remember what we was doing on the 11th.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Everybody remembers.
So that one and Space Shuttle Challenger, I remember what I was doing when it exploded. Those are 2 in my mind that are etched. You can remember what you were doing, but yeah, that was a scary day.
I remember that. I remember
watching
it day. Up in the sky.
But it brought us so much closer as an American people. And we you're sneezing over there. You all right?
Yeah, he's taking me.
It brought us so much closer together as an American people during that time, and all of this division that we see now wasn't as evident because they hit us as a country, and I think that really truly kind of brought together a lot of folks closer than we had been in the past. So, what were you doing on that day? You remember?
Shuttle or 9/11?
9/11.
I was actually picking him off grandmother's when
he had to be little.
He was really dropping him off, and I'll never forget driving north up 59 freeway and listening to Ruler and Ryan, the radio show in Houston, listening to them, and they said, I think there's been an accident. Planes flew into one of the world. Got to the ice rink and we had a big screen on and everybody stopped doing what they was doing and we just watched that TV all day. When the building started to collapse, that was just like on another level.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because nobody had ever experienced anything like that before. And of course, one flew into the Pentagon. It was just, you'll take that day to your grave.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure.
I think what you're saying is right. I think it should be a holiday.
I agree.
There
should be more attention given to it.
Absolutely. And there's one thing I will never, ever, ever get when people would.
Yeah. Oh man, that's just. Oh well, not to bring the energy down, but yeah, we would definitely want to at least talk a little bit about it because that holiday is upon us.
Well, I think we should all show respect to that day.
Absolutely.
And I think it's important that we all remember it.
Absolutely.
It's a big part of American history. You could always argue whether it was the right thing to do to go into, Afghanistan. And I personally think it's a different type of war now with the use of drones. Hopefully we can do it without putting a lot of people at risk. And I do think we should do more in the way of, to stop these cyber attacks. And I think if we use that, then hopefully it won't put so many people in harm's way. But the thing I'm very suspicious at all the time is, war is a great business. And that's the part that's the great shit.
Yeah, that is unfortunate. Most unfortunate.
I know.
Well, moving from one somber subject on to another, Governor Abbott signed this.
It really is getting depressing straight away. We're on the third topic for the day, and it really is getting depressing, Jane.
We'll have to get into some fun
Your
stuff.
cycling was probably the highlight of the conversation
so far. We'll bring it back up. Governor Abbott signed this heartbeat bill. I guess that's what they're coining it now, into law. That is basically it is banning or making abortions, the procedure as early as 6 weeks into pregnancy. So you basically got to get it done before you're 6 weeks pregnant.
Before you know you're pregnant.
Yeah. So that number of time, some women, that's normally when you find out. When somebody says, "Oh, we're pregnant," it's because you miss a month, and
then you wait.
Now
you
wait a couple of bit and just kind of see, and then boom, now you're pregnant. Now, I'm not for abortion at all. That's my personal opinion. That's just how I feel. Do I feel like 6 weeks is enough time for someone that is? It probably isn't. Quite frankly, if that's what you wanted to do, I feel that.
So, what's your psychology why you said 6 weeks?
I have no idea to stop it. So,
way to stop it.
But the point is, it doesn't matter what you think, right? You can be for it or against it.
Right.
The point is, you shouldn't be able to tell somebody what they can and can't do. The same guy who put this into effect is the guy telling us we don't have to get vaccinated and we don't have to wear masks.
Or unless it's a vaccination, right? Because they're mandating vaccines. So
they're trying to, but he is not letting them. Right. He's putting stuff into law that's not letting them.
So that's kind of the argument, right? It's like, okay, you can mandate a vaccine, but you can't mandate not killing a baby. And for me, I feel like either way, it's your business. But if you're asking my personal opinion,
right.
I'm not for it. So there you have it. So be it.
The part that I find very difficult to deal with Mr. Greg Abbott is the fact that he's pro-life, which is his prerogative to do, and yet he goes around touting his guns.
Well, guns don't kill, people kill.
Well, it depends which side of the gun you're standing at.
If I put a gun right here on the table, that gun will just lay there until somebody wanted to pick it up and use it
and shoot it.
That's not the gun's fault.
I know.
I can do the same thing with this.
Tell that to the people in Columbine.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I mean, that's the part that I find a bit frustrating. Not saying that I necessarily disagree with it, but I do feel that, here you are telling people what to do with your body.
Well, I think this is a step. You put the 6 weeks, so it's not a complete and total ban. And I think you're trying to kind of put yourself in a way where, we're not doing it.
What's your personal feeling about the Supreme Court stepped in and said that it's not for them?
Well, so Roe versus Wade was
because that's where I think it's going. That's where I think it's going long term.
Right. So Roe versus Wade. This is kind of the start of erasing that decision, that Roe versus Wade, which has been around since forever. And
when
I think
was
it's
Roe
kind of a
versus
precedent.
Wade? 70s? 80s?
Yeah. We can look it up. It was a long time ago when abortions really weren't cool.
1971.
Yeah, there you go. So I think this is kind of one of those situations where it's kind of the precedent that it starts, because that's how law works anyways. You got one case, that this happened on it, and then they reference that one, and that's the precedent for it, and then it just kind of rolls on and rolls on. But I don't know. Ultimately, here's my thought. Use a condom. Use a plan B. Use a diaphragm. Whatever it is that you got, then do, because quite frankly, I know that there are people that use abortion as birth control. And for that, it's like, that's not cool. No. Maybe you get like a scratch off card and say, oh, you've been here twice. We got you in the system already. You've already used your get out of jail free card. You can't use it again. But nevertheless, I feel like that it's your choice, whatever you want to do it, but you could also be responsible because there's a plethora of different ways to be protected.
The people that I feel for, to be perfectly honest, are the people that might make one mistake and then they're living with it for the rest of their life.
Right. And I understand that. I definitely understand that for sure. And also, you have cases where they mention cases of incest or rape, which happens. And, there's no out for either one of those situations in it. So I think it's one of those things where you're going to have people, 6 one way, half a dozen the other. No one's going to really agree.
What do you think the future holds in general for this decision? Do you think there's going to be a backlash?
How? You're going to have a bunch of illegal abortions, probably.
Well, that's the worry, isn't it? That it goes underground.
Absolutely.
Because apparently that's what was happening before.
Yep, it is what was happening before. It'll go underground, and there'll be a market for it, and people will die, and until one of these congressmen or senators' daughter or cousin dies, then it won't be important until one of their family members are found in some back alley and victim to some Craigslist abortion or some junk.
Right.
So, it happens. It's unfortunate. It happens. But what do you do? It's the law now. We're in September.
Be interesting to see what happens in the long term for that. And Florida are looking at adopting the law, are they?
Oh yeah, the Florida and the Texas, they usually along the same lines.
They hold one of the hands.
That's DeSantis out there. So we'll see. We'll see what happens on it, and I don't know. So what's next? What we got? Oh man, we're still a little morbid, but it's all right. Keep it going. Bring it to us.
Central Texas
runs out of ICU beds for the first time. Okay, so Central Texas encompasses a lot of different areas. My mother lives in Central Texas, but you got Austin, Temple, Belton, all those areas around there in what's considered that Central Texas area, but they've run out of ICU beds since. Now, I would say this. Some of those beds contain people that are doing this milk crate challenge, if you ask me. I think they're falling off and bumping their heads. I don't know. Have you seen that, Steve? Have not seen the milk crate challenge. Okay. You know what a milk crate is? Okay. They're stacking them up like a pyramid, and they're walking up one side and trying to walk down the other side without falling off. And these people are falling off of these milk crates, man. I mean, these falls are terrible falls. They breaking necks and it's ridiculous. But some of those folks may be in there because of that. But nevertheless, ICU beds for the first time since COVID-19. They've run out of beds, or they're running out of beds in that area. What do you do? What do you do? I do know this. I see a lot of partying, and you got 6th Street down in up in Austin, that area, New Braunfels. Oh, that's more hill country area, but just in that region, you got a lot of partying going on, and what they consider these events that are super spreaders, where people are out just kind of doing their thing. And whether they're vaccinated or not vaccinated,
and that's the
becoming an
problem with the
issue.
whole thing, isn't it? I mean, it's like, people have got their freedoms, but they're not really making it freedom.
92% of the hospitalized patients are unvaccinated. 92% of ICU patients are unvaccinated. 95% of the ones on ventilators are unvaccinated. That's from Baylor Scott and White, which is one of the major health systems there.
That's recent.
Oh, that's from a few days ago, about a week or two ago. Man, so I don't know. It's a tough thing to argue against when you have those kind of statistics.
To me, it's funny because you don't want socialized healthcare, right? Well, not you, but in general,
Right.
The argument is you don't want socialized medicine because I'm gonna have to wait like months to get into a bed. But if you just look at capitalistic healthcare, it's literally the problems of socialist healthcare, except it's out of your pocket.
Out of your pocket.
Yeah.
But that's
the takeaway I get from this. I don't care that these people are in the ICU because honestly, they probably all could have. I'm not going to lump them all under that, but for the most part, I feel like they could have done something to.
They had an opportunity.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now I'm not going to throw everybody under the bus like that.
Sure.
I'm sure some people just got unlucky, but yeah, for the most part, I feel like most of this is preventable.
But the effects are a lot easier on your body if you have been vaccinated. It's a bit like the flu, because you have a flu jab doesn't mean to say you're not going to catch the flu.
No, in most cases you will. At least a mild case of it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, don't get me wrong, man. It's one of those things where I don't know if you're being reckless.
What's interesting is, just coming back from the UK, my mum was in residential care, and just the different ways it's treated over there. I mean, I feel it's treated a bit more serious, especially testing. From a human point of view, I didn't like the testing personally. It was nice to get back and give my nose a rest. The truth of the matter is, I mean, it's starting to go down, and the whole COVID thing is starting to go down, and it's starting to loosen up a little bit.
Right.
And that's helping the economy, because it's helping the economy get back. I mean, it's helping, a lot of the pubs and everything. It's starting to help them again. But people don't seem to object to, the masks as much as what they do over here. And that's the part that I think is, that's the part to me which is the big question. Should people be forced to wear a mask, or should people say, no, I don't have to wear a mask? That's the part that's so difficult with the whole thing. I mean, there's been riots all over the world, hasn't there? France,
it has.
Austria.
Absolutely.
The good old Brits have been sort of fairly polite about it, but at the moment, that it just goes to show that,
Problem with, do you think there's an issue with forcing people to wear masks?
I think it should. I think it depends on the environment that they are in. If it's a medical environment, then I think they should wear a mask. I think if an employer wants somebody to wear a mask.
But do you think it's okay for the government to force you to wear a mask? That's what I'm asking.
The government.
No, I don't.
Houston?
No, I don't.
You don't?
No, but I think it depends on the environment.
But why can they not force you to do that? I'm asking.
Because I do think it's your freedom on what you should do. I hate wearing a mask.
So should it be my freedom to wear a seatbelt?
Well, yeah.
Should be.
Should be. So you think it should be?
Mm-hmm.
But here's the thing with the seatbelts. Seatbelts have been proven to save a life in a wreck. The jury,
it doesn't save you. It doesn't save your life. It significantly reduces the chances of you.
It does, right? So that could be the same argument. Absolutely. With the masks that we have, because no one's not everyone's wearing the same type of masks.
Right.
It can be more of a placebo because it's really, it may not save anything from you. It just makes the other person feel comfortable because you have a mask on. I don't have a problem wearing a mask if you say I got to wear a mask. Do I like wearing a mask? Absolutely not.
Yeah,
so if you give me a choice, I don't want to wear one. But if I have to come into your establishment and that is the requirement, I'm going to put it on. I'm going to follow the rules.
No, and I agree with that. That's the point I'm trying to say. I think it depends on the environment. I mean, when you get these Karens going to these stores and, start
I think folks
shouting
just try
at
to,
people.
they shake up and make a big deal about it where you could just say, just de-escalate it and just move on. Or don't go in there. Because guess what? If you get on an airplane, you're putting on a mask. There's no ifs, ands, and buts about
If
it.
you're not putting on that mask, that flight attendant is walking out of there.
I have not been on an airplane apart from flying to the UK.
I've been on a couple of them, and if you want to get on, you're
What
going
was
to
it
put
like
a
when
mask
you went to
on.
Vegas, Jack?
You're gonna wear that mask.
Absolutely.
And it makes sense though. Like at an airport, you have people coming from like doing connecting flights, like literally from all parts of the world.
All
I think
over.
you should be, even if it's less than 0.5%. That's like saying we could change some law on an AR-15, right, or long guns that would save 0.5% of shootings. That's still one life. So to me, that's worth it. So if all I have to do is put a stupid little piece of cloth on my face, yeah, sure. That stops the spread by even like 0.0004%. I'm cool with it.
Yeah.
It's the bare minimum we can do for free.
And the part that's so difficult about the whole COVID thing, and this is just my opinion, is the fact that the virus naturally mutates to get around so it doesn't kill the virus, and that's what's happening with the Delta variant. It's a natural mutation.
Right.
And I don't think the Delta's the last natural variant.
Well,
it's going to continue mutating.
Have you heard about the newest mutation? Mu, I think they called it. They skipped over, all the epsilon, gamma. What's the other one? Gamma, kappa. Yeah, but supposedly Mu was some variant that they saw somewhere else. I don't know how they got the Mu already, but maybe they're not going in alphabetical order. The Greek alphabet, that is. But nevertheless, hopefully, man, we can keep it in the Delta.
What does it do? Make me grow udders or something?
I don't know, man. Who knows? But it could. Who knows, man? It absolutely could. But never.
I'm vegetarian.
Are you? So actually, I've been doing that, a little bit of that vegetarian. That's part of my diet. No meat this week. So we'll see. We'll see if it works out.
Yeah, until your wife's turned her back, then you'll be at the McDonald's.
Man, come on, Steve. You don't stop hating on me, man. Stop hating on me.
Impossible meat from HEB.
Trash.
It's awesome.
Is it?
Yeah, it's next level. But some people are picky, on like what they like to eat.
Seriously, it's good. It's good.
Me, I'll go to McDonald's 7 days a week. I'll eat anything. But that's I think it's good.
You're young. You got the metabolism.
HEB vegetarian meat is really good.
So I've heard about that Impossible Whopper at Burger King was pretty good too.
It is good.
I think the HEB meat's better.
The HEB, yeah. It's
How does it come? Is it in patties or
yeah,
is
it's
it
just like how you get ground beef.
Yeah.
You can do patties. You can do ground beef packets where it's like prepackaged, and then you just like do whatever you want with the ground meat, quote unquote.
It is. It's good.
And then there's different kinds. If you don't like that certain brand, you can go try a different one. I think it's really good.
I'm gonna have to check it out.
Yeah, just get one of them, and you can like throw them in the freezer too. We've had like 5 packs in our freezer for like the past 3 months. We just take them out.
Okay. Well, as we digress with the little plug there for Impossible Meat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Promo code Olympian.
Jack isn't cooking the burgers like he used to.
Oh man, there you go.
He's a good cook. He really is a good cook.
So while we're in that same vein, man, with these masks, bro, this lady.
That's why I was asking.
This lady. Now, mind you, this is not here.
This is Singapore.
I have been to Singapore, and Singapore, you can't chew gum. You can't. There's no takeaway like to-go food. You eat your food where it is. You don't find there's no trash cans around.
Do you know they've got a hotel there, and it's a 500. It's a huge pool on the top of 3 buildings in Singapore.
It looks like a spaceship. That's Marina Bay Sands Hotel.
It's supposed to be absolutely fabulous.
It is. It is absolutely fabulous. But this lady in Singapore, she was not wearing. There it is, Marina Bay Sands. That's the hotel. So that's the hotel that's there. She was there and she did not wear her mask. And I want to say that they saw her on video. It wasn't even like they approached her. They just went back in video and saw that this woman was not wearing her mask, and she got 16 weeks in jail.
I wonder if she was eating the veggie burgers.
I don't know what she's eating. But right now, she's eating some cracker.
This is what my scoop on this is. All right, you're in another country. Respect the laws of that country.
I think she lives over there.
If she was in America, I mean, honestly, if this was America, then yeah, there's no way that I don't think that anyway. That's gonna happen.
She's not going to jail for 16 years in America, but she wasn't in America. They have a excuse me, a safe distancing ambassador that kind of go back and they look at this stuff. And so while she was visiting there at the mall, man, they went back and found that she was not wearing her mask. And yeah, I think this month she's supposed to go to jail. This month, 16 weeks, bro.
No bail.
No bail. Let's see, her 16-week jail term will be backdated to the date of her remand. For each preceding charges, she could be jailed for up to.
So the porridge.
She could go for longer and fined for $10,000. But man, when you think you got it bad with wearing, just put your mask on. Put your mask on, because I can't go to jail. I'm sorry, I cannot do it. I don't wish that on anyone, but there you have it. Didn't wear a mask.
Well,
is it worth going to jail for?
no, it is not.
Gotta
It
prove a
is
point.
not.
Well, you know, sometimes you got to prove a point, but that's a point that I'll just let slide. I'm not interested. No, thank you. Have a nice life. Blah blah blah.
That's a good paper. The best.
Oh man. So
I actually, you put this one in the Discord and I read it because I was like, "There's no way." It's interesting.
So this lady, so the lady on the left, let me get her name.
Zapata.
That's it. Jeanette Tapana. This lady, 18 years old, and this happens a lot in boxing. So you have someone that you kind of been pinned as the up and coming star. So they have them go around and they fight, all these people to get up to these next levels to try to, fluff their record a bit, so to speak. Well, this young lady, Jeanette Tapana from Mexico, was fighting this Canadian lady, Marie something or another, Marie Pierre Hule or Hale, how you say it. Man, she knocked this lady out, and today this young lady does not live anymore. She passed away 5 days after her fight, and I think it's kind of tragic because if you look at, I don't know how old the Marie lady is, but if you look at the fight or the little clip that they showed, she was obviously outmatched. I mean, this young lady was look at there. She's literally looking at her glove as it's coming towards her face with eyes open and everything. She knocked her out, and to the point that her body was convulsing right there when the ref stopped the fight, which I don't think he stopped it earlier enough, if you ask me. But
he's not a doctor.
He's not a doctor, but he can tell when somebody's getting their head beat in. And I want to say it was like in the third or fourth round of the fight itself. But this young lady, Jeanette Tapana, she died. She passed away after her injuries.
That's tragic when she's 18
years old, man. Yeah, 18 years old. I don't think she had won any major fights at all. She maybe a couple, but she got in the ring with this lady who was obviously outmatched for her and beat her down. She was in a medically induced coma for a while, but she passed away. She was married and everything. But this is one of those things, man. It just kind of gives a black eye to that whole boxing world sometimes, because you have folks that shouldn't be fighting each other there. Is this the letter from?
Yeah, their group, the group Yvonne Bell. I think this is her agency. It's with great sadness and torment that we learned from a representative of her family that Jeanette Tapana passed away this afternoon at 3:45. This was 5 days ago. The entire team at Group Gym team is extremely distressed by this painful announcement. Giovanni is devastated and extremely upset. Yeah, I mean, she didn't.
That's her husband. Yeah.
Oh, that's the husband?
That's the husband, yeah.
Obviously the ladies' goal.
Oh, yeah, of course. You never in the ring to kill anyone. But, I mean, shoot, it's unfortunate that it happened. Yeah, I saw that article and I was like, oh my goodness, man, you hate to hear about anybody passing away.
Especially so young.
And it's so young, 18 years old, man. That stinks. That definitely stinks for them. So, okay, I think, let me look for, I think we're done with the morbidity. I think we are done with the morbid talk. And from here on out, man, let's just talk about stuff.
Cool stuff.
All right. So when I sent you this one, Jack, I was like, wait a minute. Inside job much? So let's listen to this article. Check out this
over 2 days.
Foolishness.
Surveillance video shows 3 masked men entering the service area of Luther Brookdale Dodge late Saturday night and taking 5 vehicles. As Reg Chapman reports, that was just the beginning.
Started Saturday night. They broke into the business and started taking vehicles Saturday night. We think probably only about 5 left Saturday night.
Video taken from inside Luther Brookdale Dodge in Brooklyn Park shows masked men enter the service area and began taking the vehicles they wanted.
We believe Saturday night, based on video, that they came in with 3 of them. They left with about 5 vehicles. They were able to shuttle out of there.
Do you know it's a rising problem now with people purchasing cars with false
5 or
IDs?
6 accomplices and went at it again.
The second trip
problem
inside
in
the
Houston
service
as
center
well.
netted the burglars 12 additional vehicles.
You have 17 cars at this point is what we believe are missing.
Brooklyn Park Deputy
17
Police Chief Mark
cars.
Gould says they learned of the thefts from Minneapolis police, who were called to investigate a man slumped over in a vehicle early Monday morning.
They tried to make contact with that individual. He started ramming into their police cars. They took him into custody, and they found out that he was in a stolen vehicle and he had a bunch of key fobs.
Okay, so here is my thing
That's when
with
the
it.
dealership told investigators about the
drone.
break-in.
So Brookdale, this is obviously this was in Minneapolis, is what they said. So the first day they came and they took 5 cars. They were preparing apparently for, because I guess the hurricane, the remnants of the hurricane was kind of coming through, so they moved the vehicles inside the showroom so that, you know, they'd be okay. So that with all of that, they bring all the keys inside. These dudes, they're not even running. They're not running. They're moving, you know, pretty swiftly. Trying to back out here, back out there. Who was the individual that gave up the key? Who works there? If I own this dealership, I'd be interviewing every employee. Every employee. And then the next day they came back and got 12 more cars for a total of 17 cars. Inside job?
Yeah, it's gotta be.
Gotta be an inside job. Got to be an inside job.
And talking of that, just a bit of trivia. How many cars does the Sultan of Brunei own?
300.
Have a guess, Jack?
I don't even know.
The Sultan of Brunei. You don't know who the Sultan of Brunei is? He's got one of the largest car collections in the world. He owns 7,000 cars.
Why? That's a lot of cars.
Uh-huh.
He probably wouldn't miss one if someone took it.
Perhaps
He
you need
wouldn't
to
know.
tell these guys to go see the...
He wouldn't know if somebody took it. I don't. What do you do with 17 stolen cars? I mean, they got to take them out of the state.
He's got like. What's he got? He's got I think 7 McLarens.
Are you talking about the Sultan?
Yeah, the Sultan of Brunei.
If I stole 17 cars, I'd honestly take them down to South America.
I was going to say you got to be out of the country. Because you make some money down there because they buy those cars, man.
Yeah,
like with the quickness.
With
them being brand new, that's
if they don't chop your head off first.
Hey, if you show up with 10 new cars, I think they'll be happy. Say, hey, we gotta keep you alive so you can come back.
Yeah, if they don't like the price, then you could end up with your head on somebody else's body.
Absolutely.
Conservative phone, what's that?
Well, hey,
Freedom phone.
Freedom phone. You ever heard about that?
No.
Well, there's been an issue with speech being censored, so to speak, on these social media platforms and Facebook and Twitter and all that good jazz. Well, this is a company. I think this kid is like 22. He calls himself the world's youngest Bitcoin millionaire. Eric Finman is his name. So he's created this new kind of smartphone that he said that will liberate Americans from their big tech overlords. So like your Parler was an app on the Apple Store and Play that they censored because it was a conservative talk kind of platform, and they completely blocked it. So in this video that they mentioned, this conservative Freedom phone, it allows you to be able to buy this device, $500, and you're able to download and have free speech however you want to have it on your device. Now, I can't speak of the service. I can't speak of the device itself, probably made in China somewhere.
It is.
It is?
They said it in here. It's literally just
It's got to be something cheap, made over there. There you go.
hold on.
Just let the Chinese control it then.
Yeah. Building and delivering phones. First you received bad early reviews from innocent. Oh, this is the early one. There was
whatever it's on. I know it's a new phone, supposedly, away from all the blocks and censorship that we get now on your regular phone. So I don't know how you do that unless you're going to rebuild all the towers that are used, because I feel like there would be some kind of way to block something from it. But it's called the Freedom phone, so you're free to say whatever it is that you want to say on your phone now, Steve, without any judgment. You're an Android guy. You probably wouldn't go for this anyway.
Because I think there's a balance between. I don't think everybody should just be able to say what they want. I mean, I think
you don't.
Well, no. I believe in freedom of speech. There's a difference. Some people use it to take it to the extreme, and just think it causes.
But is there an extreme? If it's freedom of speech, is there an extreme?
Yeah, I think there is.
Okay, well,
and so I'll give you a typical example.
Let's hear it.
All right, a property we manage. All right, the tenant in the property has decided that they're going to build cupboards at 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning, so the person underneath can't get any rest, can't get anything.
Okay.
So is that freedom?
That's not freedom of speech. That's different.
So that's
disturbing the peace.
And so
now what we're talking about is just being able to say.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. I think there's got to be reasonable limits on everything. And I'm not saying that you'd say, well, this isn't, that isn't. But I mean, it's like that's always the question. Is to what limit is the freedom?
Well, if it's true
should
freedom,
should you be able to say whatever you want about how somebody lives?
If it's true freedom, if it's going to be true freedom of speech, there should be no limitation.
Do you think people have abused it
the freedom of speech?
Mm-hmm. Do you think people have abused it to incite?
So if it's
do you think people should be able to go on to social media and use the N-word?
If that's what they want to do, their freedom to do that is completely theirs. Now, there's consequences, and I think I've said this before.
Well, there should be consequences.
There's consequences to you saying whatever that you say, but you should have the right to say whatever it is that you want to say, in my opinion. I don't have to agree with it. I don't have to listen to it. But if there's something that you want to say, I should not have, I shouldn't be able to limit you.
See, that's where I think we disagree. I don't think people should use that. I think it's inflammatory.
So think about it like this. When I'm out at a restaurant, and let's just say that the bar area is closer to where I sit, and I may have my kids or my nieces or nephews, and someone's hurling profanities the whole time.
Uh-huh.
That's not a pleasant environment, in my opinion. I don't think they should be doing that. I think that they should curb their speech. Say, man, you got kids around. Watch what you're saying. But do they have the freedom to say what they want to say? Absolutely. I don't agree with it.
So where does it start and where does it finish?
If it's freedom,
that's the
thing. If it's freedom, there is no limitation with it.
That's the question, isn't it? Where does it start and where does it finish?
Sure. But if you inhibit my ability to even speak, that I think is an overreach. So if I have a platform to do it.
I think if you're in the restaurant and you hear someone say stuff you don't like, get up and leave. They can say it.
They can.
Same thing with Twitter. If Twitter doesn't like what you're saying, they can ask you to leave. But it's like all these people are fighting about like the censorship, about like stuff like this, where they can't say what they want, and then those same people are the ones who are saying we need to outlaw abortion and stop forcing people to get vaccines. Like, dude, okay, you can have that take, but like you just got to be even across the board. You can't be one-sided. That's when I get really upset with like the whole censorship thing. But yeah, like go to James' point, if you're in the restaurant and someone's saying some stuff you don't like, just you can tell them to be quiet. It's up to them to listen.
Right.
But if I don't like it, I'm just going to get up and leave.
But that's the problem. Some people just get up and they're volatile, and you can't tell me what to do.
Oh yeah, you're going to have that.
I mean, they're right. They're right though.
They are right.
I mean, who are you? And if you were to, if I was with my friends and one of you guys were to come up to me, even though I know you, I'd be like, "Who are you?" Like, I don't care. I can say whatever I want. That's just the state of the United States.
That's where we live.
That's how it works.
And that's why
But do you think that's for the better or for the worse?
It's for the worse. I think it's intended for the better.
I think it's intended for the better as well, but I don't think it is.
It's intended. No, it doesn't, because that's why you have so much pushback in many topics, because.
And that's when I said it. See, it gets manipulated.
Well, I think
it gets manipulated.
People can't have a true conversation anymore. Like, we sit here every week and we talk about different things. Some we agree on, some we don't. But people are at the point now, if you don't agree with them, you either hate them or you're stupid, or it can't just be that I just don't agree. We have different opinions about it. And it has to come to a point to where we're on opposite sides, and there's contention.
Right. And I still say to this day, I'm a big believer in. I think there needs to be 3 or 4 parties.
Oh man, you'll never get me disagreeing about that.
It could be up and a down.
Yeah, you won't find me
because I
disagreeing
think
about
that way you'll have more talking and not as much shouting.
Yep.
But the way that it's politically controlled
you only
by
got
capitalism.
2 choices.
And it's capitalism that controls it, regardless which side of the fence you're on. And I really think that my personal feeling is, the Roman Empire came to an end for a reason.
Oh yeah.
And I really don't hope it happens to America, but I think it's going that way.
It's already started. Already begun.
It has begun, sir.
What's this? There was a mid-fight chaos on an American flight over Labor Day.
Uh-oh. What was that?
What were we saying about people not being able to talk about their differences and getting on?
I think if somebody has differences, we should legalize every area, community, zip code needs to have government-sponsored MMA ring, octagon. And if you have some shit you gotta say, Go square
Bring
up.
it to the ring.
Yeah, go in there. Hey,
Bring it.
all right, you don't want to fight? Okay, then I'm right.
The agreement is if you get in the ring and you beat me down,
Yeah.
we'll go with your side.
Yeah.
Oh
Have
man,
a referee in there and everything. Hey,
man,
a lot of people would shut up.
They
real
would.
quick.
A lot of
Real
people
quick,
would.
I promise.
A lot of people really would, because you got a lot of keyboard warriors out here on the internet, man. People are so brave behind their keyboards, and it's like, come on, man, you got to be killing me. Come on.
So come on, Jack. Talk about your number one subject, the Bitcoin in El Salvador.
Uh-oh.
It's officially a currency of their country. And,
So-
McDonald's, you can go to McDonald's and buy coffee with your Bitcoin, or you can go to Starbucks.
I know we talked about this a few weeks ago. That was when they were kind of just talking about doing
So yeah,
it.
they were basically opening up wallets for the government to use. Yesterday, they officially purchased Bitcoin. So I think they have like 500 of them.
So that means, man, it didn't take them long to make a decision on this at all.
Oh.
It was just a matter of just doing it.
But a lot of people are starting to come down on the president because they think he's not that he's doing it in bad faith, but he just knows that it's something that the whole world gets behind. So that's why he's doing it.
Which is the president of El Salvador.
Yeah. He's a young guy. He's really but here, let me
It's
I still think there's people.
Nayib Bukele.
I still think there's people resisting this because they don't want the dollar to give up its power.
Well, the dollar's lost power already.
You know.
I mean, it's
As soon as the Bitcoin goes, then we're done.
there. It is.
But yeah, like, because you have countries like Cuba make their own currency. It's not like their own currency, but people have to convert to dollars so you have to pay the Cuban government in dollars to get their local currency, and then they just it's hard to explain. I'm not the right guy to explain it, but
It's a racket.
yeah, it's just a big loop on cycling people out of their money for the government. But let me see if I can find the tweet yesterday. This guy was just trolling. So this is somebody buying Bitcoin with Starbucks. Starbucks with Bitcoin.
Un bacon cruda y un americano grande. Su total sería de 13 comidas.
Wow.
So if you buy a coffee, does the rate change throughout the day?
Nope. $13. If you buy $100 worth of Bitcoin, it's $100 worth of Bitcoin until the price of a Bitcoin goes up or down. Now, if I buy one Bitcoin right now, or if I buy $10 worth of Bitcoin right now, and I send you $10 worth of Bitcoin, you'll get $10 worth of Bitcoin. But if we wait like a day or two, yeah, the price will fluctuate. But there's networks on top of Bitcoin that prevent it from being so volatile. So you get your money the same way either way.
But that kind of to his point, so that could fluctuate the price of the I guess how much money has been applied to your cup of coffee.
It's different because the way they're transacting it, it's like another network on top of the Bitcoin network. So Bitcoin, the price of Bitcoin does fluctuate up and down, but when you're transacting on that network, it balances out your money.
Gotcha.
For the transfer period. But yeah, 10:15 a.m. when Bitcoin was hitting about $42,000, he bought the dip. The president of El Salvador bought the dip. So he tweeted that. 150 coins.
Wow.
And then yeah, you got Peter Schiff, who's anti-Bitcoin. So
If your goal is to make a poor nation poorer, then you are well on your way to success.
yeah.
I wonder if he has any Bitcoin in his.
No, you should hear him talk.
Oh, he's completely against it.
Oh yeah, this dude hates it. Like if I go to his page, it's because he's a gold guy. He still thinks gold is the number one inflation hedge. And his big argument is that you can't. Yeah, like all he does is just dunk on Bitcoin all day. See Bitcoin. Your national currency just lost over 15% of its purchasing power in under an hour. I like reading his stuff because It's very rare do you see someone very vocal about how much they don't like it.
Like Bitcoin.
And this guy is just on it 24/7. That's why I like him. He says some interesting stuff.
But he's still on gold.
And then you just have all these people just making fun of him.
I don't know. The fact that they're printing money like water will let you know that the gold backing is not as great as it was. But nevertheless, everybody has their opinion.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Yeah, one of like the main conspiracies is that Elon wants to go to space to mine for more gold. And like other asteroids. So like you can go to space and then, because in space there's multiple elements. You just have to find the right environment for it to be harbored in. So what happens if you go to space and you find a rock pretty much full of gold? And you just take all of that gold and come back to Earth. What now? Because we're at that point in I guess humanity, where we're starting to go to other planets. Mars is going to happen by the end of 2030. So by 2040, we will be able to go to other planets.
That's a one-way trip, though.
Yeah. What, Mars?
Yeah.
It takes 6 months. You can go there and back. They're going to plan on getting people back.
Well, my thing is having the infrastructure to get what you need there. So you can get back.
Mm-hmm. Yep. But the plan is to come back. So you can only do one thing at a time, But that's the end goal. And so it's like, now that we're cognitive that that's the way things are going, is gold the way we hold on to gold, the way we have in the past?
Right.
No one knows. No one knows.
Well, I think we're all believers in the Bitcoin here at this table. No one's poo-pooing on it.
Gotta have to.
We finally got Steve be able to pronounce Ethereum correctly.
Absolutely.
He's on board with that. So that's all that matters.
Yeah.
That is all that matters. So
Can't be a no-pointer.
yeah, absolutely. So your senator has something to say about somebody getting a job, Steve?
Mr. Cruz?
What happened? I didn't see this.
He's telling everybody to go out there and get jobs.
Is that bad?
Ted Cruz. Well, it all depends if there's jobs out there to get, and then we've got everything with the housing crisis, and I really think we're in a position where it's difficult to get people, yourself, to get people onto, you mentioned a problem earlier on, where you said, about people getting second jobs, and they're not taking that to be able to buy a house.
Oh, yeah, they're not that income if you haven't been doing it.
It's so difficult. I mean, Christina, who came to work, for us, she wanted to get a house, and because her husband's self-employed, and that's them are the people I really feel sorry for, is the people that are self-employed. Sometimes it's difficult for them to qualify for a loan.
It is. So,
do you not think it'd be possible to do a government program for self-employed people to make it easier for them to buy a house?
It's not hard to buy a house for a self-employed person, but you can't write off all your income and then try to use it when it's time to apply for a loan.
But you not think that's a catch-22?
It's not a catch-22. You got to make a decision on what you're going to pay your taxes, or you're going to write them all off. It's a simple solution. I do it for some self-employed people. They pay their tax and they buy a house, and then the next year they might go back to where they're writing everything off. But it's not that it's a
do you think it
strike
should,
against self-employed people.
Do you think it should be easier for a self-employed person?
It's not difficult, Steve. It's not difficult. It's just you making a decision that you're not going to write everything off. You're going to pay the taxes that you owe and go from there.
Because the problem I've always had is the debt-to-income ratio. That's
because of the income piece of it. Because when you come to apply for your mortgage, we are going to look at your adjusted gross income. So that's after all of your write-offs from your Schedule C's or K1s or whatever it is that you have. We're going to use that adjusted gross income. If that adjusted gross income happens to be $10,000, even though if I go and look on your other schedules, you've made $200,000, then I can only use this $10,000 that you were paid, taxes on. So it's really just you making a decision to say, you know what, I'm going to report that full $200,000 that I made, pay the taxes that I need to owe on it, the 40, 50 grand that it might be, and then I'll use my bottom line figure for my AGI as what I'll qualify for the mortgage. It's simple, but people don't want to do it. Or not that they don't want to do it, they want to be able to use the tax code as far as writing things off, but use all the money when it comes time for applying for a loan. So to answer your question, no, I don't think there should be a government program. There's already opportunities and programs.
Because part of the problem that I had was when we had all this government help, the PPP program, what I applied for and what I got were two entirely different.
Right.
And then they did an extension, and that was difficult to get. And, even to this day, I didn't manage to get much. It was so difficult, to do. I mean, I don't think there should be as much benefits, to be perfectly honest, for some people. But I do think there should be some help for smaller businesses or to help people develop, their businesses. I do think there should be more help for smaller businesses.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you on that one, because I think the money that we're going to families or people that just, weren't working, I don't think there was enough help going to small businesses, and there wasn't enough vetting for, because I knew people that were getting PPP loans that didn't even have real businesses. One guy was trying to do it, and he cut grass. Or another lady, she made T-shirts. And they were going to getting these PPP loans because there was no real true vetting.
Some woman started a business up in Florida.
Really? Yeah. So
she's facing time.
Those folks, and they should. Mm-hmm. They should be facing time, because that money should have gone to a small business owner that can kind of help with.
Can you pull up that article?
What?
For Ted Cruz with the job.
It's right here. I'm looking at it.
Can you go to Miss Cops? I think it's quite funny. There he is. Can you tell us where you get a job like yours? Says no to everything, on social media all day, full health care and pension, $175,000 a year, no boss, frequent unrelated travel, 8 weeks paid vacation, no obligation or objectives, zero loyalty to your constituents.
Term limits. Get out to the polls and vote. That's what I say.
That's the bottom line.
That's it. Get out to the polls and vote. So the people that you want can get in there and get the job. So that's key.
And I think this is so interesting so this guy says, I've been sending resumes out every day for 6 months. I've been sending resumes out for 6 months and haven't gotten a nibble. Ted, I haven't tried McDonald's yet, but I can't make enough working there to support my family. Where are all these jobs you're touting? And then this guy, if you have no skills, were handed a high school diploma and still have trouble reading, I don't know where that came from, writing or doing basic math, decided to have kids out of wedlock, this is totally irrelevant, have abused drugs, also irrelevant, smoke, like this guy didn't mention any of that, got tattoos and expect to raise a family doing, I have to say he's just straight up trolling.
Well, look, yeah, no avatar. I mean, those guys, I don't pay attention to those fools.
But it's just, and then I think, because when people say stuff like that, it doesn't really bother me. But then you have like 6 other idiots that are like, this guy is just killing it. He's spitting. Like, he didn't even mention 90% of the stuff you're throwing out here. And it's like, okay, even if somebody has a kid out of wedlock, they're not allowed basic like living conditions or a job or anything. It's just crazy.
Abuse drugs, smoke, got tattoos. I mean, you may be
got tattoos like
that they and again, I'm not a tattoo guy, but what does that have to do with this guy getting a job?
Nothing
to do with him getting a job at all. Yeah.
Yeah, get a mini me. You need a job? Just get another one of you.
There's jobs out here. Don't get me wrong. I know there's jobs out there, but everyone will have their preference on what kind of work they want to do, where they want to do it. So I don't know. I think when people that sit in places like Ted Cruz and any of these other celebrities, I've said this before, they don't have a real grasp on reality and what we as real people are dealing with.
Did you ever see that one thing with Gates when he was on Helen DeGeneres and Tortino's? Said, how much do you think a packet of Tortino's?
The little
pizza rolls.
You don't know.
He didn't have a clue. $20. I think he said $22.
Yeah, he has that dude does not go to the grocery store at all.
Yeah, I was reading an article the other day. Did you know he bought Da Vinci's original scripts? Was it Da Vinci?
Leonardo da Vinci?
Yeah, Leonardo da Vinci. He bought his original scripts for like millions of dollars. Yeah, Bill Gates. Go have a look.
He bought
Yeah.
He's also like best friends with Jeffrey Epstein.
Oh, yeah. Well, there you go.
Yeah. Not a big fan of Bill Gates.
Me neither, man.
Look, Bill Gates, Leonardo da Vinci book. He bought the book. Leonardo da Vinci's notebook. Paid $30.8 million for.
Wow. That's when you just have money. It's too much money.
Well, I was watching that in all fairness with the Sultan of Brunei, and that came on that some of these wealthy people have bought. It's just doesn't buy you happiness, though.
Oh, no, absolutely not. It can get you something close to it.
Yeah.
What Samuel Jackson said. He said, look,
Bill
it
Gates
might not buy you happiness, but it buy you something doggone
$30.8
close.
million
This is
for
the Walmart version.
for this
Exactly.
book 25 years ago.
30 million. And that was in 94?
Yeah.
He paid more for this packet of paper than all three of us will make in our entire lives.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Mind.
Just to say he has it, that's a true status symbol right there.
But I want to know what he does with it, though.
It
What does he do? Does it sit in his living room?
It sits
or
in a
something?
shadow box with lights on it. That's it. I assure you, that's probably all it does.
And you know that one of the Koch brothers apparently has a photo of Billy the Kid, the only verifiable photo of Billy the Kid. He paid millions for.
Really?
Yeah. One of the Koch brothers. I mean, honestly, what are these people really helping society?
No. Well, we know Bill Gates. There's a whole bunch of stuff surrounding him and kind of what they get down. And of course, he just got divorced and all that jazz. So it is what it is. Is what it is. You mentioned Leonardo da Vinci. That picture of quote unquote Jesus that he painted. It's called the Salvador Mundi, I believe, is what they call it. That's supposedly be a picture of his love interest, Cesare Borgia, who was the Pope's son years ago. The Borgias. I don't know if you ever heard of that family name, but it was a show out years ago that talked about that. But that made me think about that when you mentioned Da Vinci. All right. Okay. We got the stock market. Well, shoot. Who brought this in? Because I know I wouldn't want to talk about it. I'd be depressed with my portfolio.
You are?
Well, some of the moves that I probably could have made a little earlier. I'm riding with them right now. I'm still up. I will say that, but maybe not as up as maybe I wanted to. What you got, Steve, on the stock market, man? You sharing it with us? Yeah, I was at a loss of words too.
Just a general thing on how the stock market's doing. That was all, because they reckon that September's the quiet month.
I know it's over 35,000. The Dow's up over 35,000. Nasdaq's over 15. S&P's over 4,500.
Can you remember though when they said, it was over 20,000?
Oh,
it says,
yeah.
Well, 20,000. It won't go any higher than that.
Oh, yeah. I remember.
And it just climbed and climbed and climbed and climbed.
It continues to grow. Continues to grow. And honestly, if there's kind of to the point you mentioned earlier, if there's any war or rumor thereof, that's a business maker right there. So that'll have a huge effect on where things are with it. So it'll be interesting to kind of look at this even in a year's time to kind of see where we are in 2022, September, see where they are. We're talking 35 right now. Bitcoin's at what, 44, 45,000? It'll probably be 65, 70,000.
Do you think gold's going to come back?
Come back? No. I think it'll hover. Where is it, 17? Where is gold today? I didn't even look.
1,700, is it?
I know it had dropped down to 14 at one time.
The problem with gold is I don't know how to evaluate the price, because people, when they buy gold, quote unquote, they buy the ETF or they buy like the mining company, all this other stuff.
$13, $14, $17, $17.91.
It was like 18.
This website looks like it's straight from dial-up with this. But yeah, Palantir. Do you guys know who Palantir is?
Nuh-uh.
They it's a data company that they extract and sell user data to third parties.
Really?
Within apps. That's all the company does, is they take data and they sell it. And they're
So
buying,
they're in one of those terms and conditions
yeah,
kind of deals that we never read.
And so like all they do is just analyze data and grow, because like all you can do with data is get more data from it. So they bought $50 million worth of gold, and I forgot who bought it. I don't know if it was like the
That's just
chief executive officer. Makes software used by governments and businesses. Oh yeah, and they sell it to governments. That's a big part I forgot to leave out. It fashions itself as a company for free thinkers. Palantir relocated to Denver last year and mocked its peers in Silicon Valley on the way out. In the interview, compared Palantir's culture with an artist colony rather than a tech company churning out software on an assembly line. That's besides the point. But anyways, they bought all this gold, and they said to anticipate a black swan event. So, not that these guys are cream of the crop or anything, but the fact that they're anticipating a black swan,
yeah, it's enough to shake up
food
some
for
stuff.
thought.
Yeah, absolutely.
Keeps you on your toes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But I don't think
That's interesting to see that they are. I don't know. That they jumped into it. I wonder when did they do that? Does it say?
August 17th when it was published. I don't know if they bought. They're just announcing they bought. Palantir's 100-ounce gold bars. Yeah, and it's not like they're buying like some. They bought actual gold, like bars
gold
of
bars.
gold. Will be kept in a secure location in the northeastern U.S. according to the filing. Company is able to take physical possession of the gold bar stored at the facility anytime within reasonable.
Wow. So for those of you that don't know that term, Jack used, a black swan, basically just a surprise. This is what happened.
It's an event you can't control.
You can't do anything about it.
Adjust to.
There ain't
just
no.
happens.
I mean, it's a hindsight 2020 kind of deal. Like maybe you could have caught it, but you didn't. Here we are.
The 2008 crash. You can
Exactly.
anticipate it, but there's nothing you can do to stop.
Nothing you can do about
something
it.
like that.
But yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, it's just everybody on their toes.
Absolutely. A little bit of information. Should
So
we buy?
Planters are anticipating that to happen?
I mean,
Palantir.
Palantir is gambling $50 million that something like that is going to happen. So
50 million.
now $50 million out of their, I think it was $2 billion that they have. It's not a lot.
That's not,
you know?
yeah.
So, but $50 million to us.
50 million, that's a lot. I'll take it.
Yeah.
I'll take it. That's some scratch
a lot of
for
shekels.
sure. Absolutely. I will definitely do that. Oh, well, I guess we'll see
Absolutely.
what happens with it.
So what you got going on this week, James?
Man, I am trying to wrap up a couple of transactions that I have, and you win a couple, you lose a couple. Trying to get folks out in the street to make offers. That's been tough. Making offers, and winning offers, shall I say?
Yeah, one of my buddies who was selling a house up in Spring. We had it listed at 225. We got an offer on it for 237. We ended up having 5 offers on the property.
Oh wow!
It was just nuts. He did a real good job of the rehab mind. And that's when I said I feel sorry for the first-time home buyers because the investors are snapping them up.
They are certain price ranges. I think one of the agents here was telling me yesterday that he had an offer. It had 40 offers on it in 2 days.
Right.
That's crazy.
It is.
But it was below 200,000 too. So when you get around there, you're dealing with investors and
that was Miguel, wasn't it?
buy. Yes, as a matter of fact, he was talking about that, and that's tough.
But there was a property in Houston about 7 months ago. It had what, 120 offers? That's just nuts.
It is nuts.
How's first-time home buyers?
But I'll say this to all your first-time home buyers, or even your step-up buyers: don't be discouraged.
But that's the problem, because it's the long haul at the end of the day.
Don't be discouraged. I would say keep your credit in line, keep saving, keep trying, because it'll level out eventually. And those of us that have kind of been through these cycles before, we know that it will. And we're just in one of those times where sellers are winning right now, and builders are making it worse for us.
Yeah, my aunt in the UK, they've got this program over there that for the low-income people, what they do, you rent half of the house and you buy half of the house.
You rent half and you buy half?
Yeah, you pay a rent and then you actually buy half of it as well. And she's been in the house now for some time, and now because of the way the prices have gone up, she's laughing all the way to the bank.
Wow. So that's interesting.
And that's what I think there needs to be. I think there needs to be solutions which will help, make it easier for people.
Well,
but I've got to tell you, I told you about my mum's house that's been sold, haven't I?
Yeah.
It takes 16 weeks to sell.
Now that's from contract to closing?
Yeah, because it's in the hands of attorneys, and we all know how fast attorneys work.
Yeah, they don't.
And one of the parts that I really found frustrating with the whole thing is we have what they call a memorandum of sale. So we've got not a contract, but it's just an agreement of how we both sides see the contract. And then they go and get qualified when they've got their memorandum of sale. So they're not even qualified for the sale. So you've accepted an offer and it could all bust out.
Oh, wow. That's a totally different way of doing business.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of frustrating.
And then to make it worse, the attorneys that we're working with, one of them's been on vacation for 2 weeks, so there's 2 weeks on top of that as well.
Wow. You brought up that whole rent buy kind of deal. This company Divvy, I don't even know if they're in our area yet, but it's the new rent to own. We used to have a couple different ones where home partners and all that kind of deal. But this Divvy, I looked at them, and it looks like it's a fairly easy transaction that takes place. You apply minutes, you choose the home, rent while you prepare to buy, blah blah blah, and they take some of that money. Now the difference was they take some of that money and they put it in like a savings account or a savings pool or something for you. So as you're making your payments, that goes towards your down payment. Now that was a little different element from what I've seen before.
Like basically the area or the profit on top of the note.
Yes, they save that and help to put it towards your down payment when you're ready to buy the house, which I thought was a little different deal. I don't know if they're all over Texas. I do know they're in San Antonio and Houston, but I mean, it's basically just a different way to do it. Once you get approved, they'll get you partnered with an agent to help you find your home. They'll buy the house, and you'll need like 1% to 2% or something to put the down payment into it, and then you start saving as you gradually build into home ownership over the 3 years that they give you. And at any point, you can choose to buy the home with the money you saved, or you can move out, and then they give you the money that you saved if you don't buy the house. Who does that? Nobody.
No, but that's what I think we need to do over here. Just get a bit more creative.
That's definitely creative. That'll bring a different group of people, to your place, to your program. So,
right.
But I know agents could get signed up for this kind of deal, and as I understand it, act as the intermediary for them. So that's just a little plug there for the Divvy promo code Olympian. Don't forget about us if you do it.
Yeah. All right then.
Cool.
So that's it for a week?
That's it, man. That's all we have. We're just trying to stay abreast. We thank goodness there's no
How do we start?
name storms.
How do we start something where we make 9/11 national? What should we do?
I think you got to start some kind of petition. Call your senator.
Come on, everybody! Contact your congressman, and your senators and
let
contact
them
them,
know.
and let's see if we can make 9/11 a holiday.
It should be a holiday. We should be. I mean, it's Saturday this year, but it should be a holiday.
We need to do that to remember them good people and them folks that thought they was going to work that day and they never got home for them. Did you see the story about there was some of the kids from their parents that died on 9/11? They're now in the military.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't see that. I know there's a lot of stuff out now.
Yeah. It always comes out this time of year, but he was basically saying that, 2 of the kids who lost their parents are now in the military. Thank you for their service. So that's what we need to do. We need to start something to make 9/11 a national holiday.
I agree.
That is the ultimate sacrifice.
We can start the hashtag 9/11 holiday.
Yeah. Let's do that.
Right.
All right then, guys.
Thank you.
All right then.
Thank you for joining
So
us.
until next week, we'll see you next Wednesday.
Absolutely. If you need anything from us, we want to be a realtor, contact Steve. His information is down in the description. Need a mortgage or you want to become a loan officer, mine is down as well. And we look forward to seeing you guys next Wednesday, 10 o'clock.
Appreciate you. Thanks so much.
Take care.
Take care.